Alright folks, if you are a loyal viewer of the channel, you would have remembered way back in the SRL season, I teased this race. I said in a couple videos, referencing coming to this track in this league and having one of the most exciting league races possibly of my career. And yeah, I stand by that without getting into spoilers, I was fired up about this one, so stay tuned for an absolute doozy of a race. We are here at Italy for now round 8 of the Weekend Night Racing Championship. We still hold both championship leads. Our lead in the Constructors has been ever growing, as there isn't really a team with two top drivers in the Constructors, but my teammate C has been an absolute unit, putting in consistent finishes. We have a new driver joining in Spec Lab. He's got some decent pace, so yes, we will have to contend with him as well at the front of the grid, as long as the regulars like DJ and Immortal. So we'll be heading out onto track for our final run of the qualifying session. And as the track has gotten slightly better with evolution, these will most likely be the important runs here. Most likely as in they will definitely be the important runs here. And yeah, I didn't have good runs. I invalidated my lap early on. So yeah, this is going to be my one and only really timed run. So the pressure is on for me to really execute on this lap. Going into this race, this track is easy, but again, this is a track that is very pad disadvantaged because it's a bunch of chicanes. And that is especially so at Ascari. And if we want to get real technical, the reason for that is in Ascari, my issue is I can't get the full throttle fast enough without being sketchy on the traction. And the reason I can't get the full throttle fast enough is because on pad, because you can't go right to left instantly, it goes and then back to neutral and then turns again. So for me to be able to make Ascari with some decent speed carried through it, I have to use full steering lock to the right and then snap full steering lock back to the left. Which obviously, as you've seen in this game, if you try to do full steering lock and get the full throttle, even in 6th gear, even in 7th gear, you're going to spin. So the wheel player being able to snap back and forth, and because of that, not using full lock, just allows them to have a much better traction in Ascari, get the full throttle earlier, and yeah, just have an advantage pretty much through the whole of the 3rd sector, with the exception of the final corner, because that's just a regular corner. Not to mention just the quick turning left to right, allowing the pad player to just be less accurate on average through the first 2 chicanes. So yeah, I don't want to say it's a nightmare track for pad players, but it is definitely not great. As we start our lap, carry a lot of speed through the first chicane. I go down the 2nd gear to help the car rotate. You notice I wasn't overly aggressive getting to the throttle because wheel spin there is actually not as fast as just being that little bit later to the throttle, but not having any wheel spin. Pick your spot of braking into the 2nd chicane. You can hit your tire on that orange sausage curb on the 1st corner, but you don't want the floor of the car to hit it. That's what launches you up into the air. Very late apex through that corner. Can still lose the traction on the exit, so be careful. I could have took a little bit more of the inside curve there, but I did carry a decent amount of speed, so it's a great lap so far. Bomb it down this backstretch, and here is the issue. I need to be careful where I get the full throttle because it's so easy to lose the car, especially when you're on pad. You have to go to full steering lock right, full steering lock left just to get the car rotated around. But overall, I feel like I've executed this lap pretty much to the best of my ability. I've done a great job of just nailing my qualifyings here in the second half of this game's light span. A little bit of an early apex there so I can square up the corner on the exit, get the full throttle, and pull it back to the inside, saving about half a tenth. We come to the line, and that lap was good enough for P2 as it stands, but we will see where it ends up as everyone else finishes their final qualifying runs. And note from the future here, when I was editing this, I had one continuous stream of recording from about here all the way up to like lap 7 of the race. And then when I went to tack on a little bit more to the recording, for some reason it deleted everything I'd already recorded. So yeah, fuck me, I gotta do all that again. So yeah, if anything I say sounds slightly out of place, it's because I forget what I've already said and what I hadn't, because I'd already recorded all this part. Fuck. But nonetheless, you can see our run was good enough for 3rd place in the end. Yeah, only 2 tenths off of pole position, which isn't bad. AC Immortal and Spec Lab in front. We got DJ behind. So yeah, going into this race, starting third at Italy, can't complain about that too much. Still looking good, especially overall in the championship after the great last few rounds that we've had. Now as we get ready for the start of the race, both cars ahead of me on the medium tires, DJ behind me on the hards, but we get a great launch, a much better launch than the medium runners. Spec Lab almost spins out, we almost go in the back of them. That holds us up, and that is going to make us lose positions here. Already down in the fifth, going into turn one. Now we're caught in the middle of two cars, 3 wide, not where I want to be, and we're going to get pushed off onto the grass by the McLaren. And yeah, just like that, no fault of our own, we're down in the 7th place at the first couple of corners. Maybe we can get a couple spots back here. Heading into the second chicane, we brake late. The Red Bull locks up on the inside, so we can't risk going around the outside. And yeah, a terrible first lap for us. We got such a good launch that easily, if we wouldn't have had the check up to Spec Lab, we definitely had the pace off that launch to get up in the first going into the first corner, which just would have been another just godlike grid start for us, just like we had at Saudi Arabia, but even better, third to first. You know how I love getting a good grid start, and I had an amazing one there, especially when they were on the medium tires as well. That would have been so hype, the lead into turn one, but now all the way down in the 7th on lap 1. Things are really not going great for us at the moment, but now we can settle into a rhythm here, and we still got a lot of racing left to go. But, like I said, still plenty of time to make up some positions. We know we might not be the fastest car overall by track, but it's not by a big margin, and we know that we got the pace to get ahead over some of these drivers, and we still got some medium drivers in front of us. We're going to burn a chunk of battery here, get on the DRS. This Mercedes, I almost called McLaren, is not going to fight us too much as we launch down the inside. We look to make the overtake done. And all right, he recognized the situation, doesn't fight us too much, thankfully, and that is 1 position down, now up into 6th place. Hopefully we can get this Red Bull sooner rather than later. He doesn't have any help with the DRS in front of him, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue to make the overtake happen. Coming down the front stretch at the end of that lap, start of the next one. And yeah, with no DRS ahead, going to be able to get the Red Bull with little to no problem. He knows the situation, doesn't overfight me, cause us both to lose time. Really appreciate that, helps us both out. And now I can start running down the next 2 cars. Can't quite see who they are from here. But yeah, up in the 5th already, but a gap ahead of us, so things are still not great, but at least we're not back down in P7. Nothing would change for a few laps, but the one car would break away from the McLaren here, and we would catch up to McLaren. We are now well in his DRS, and it shouldn't be too hard to pass him if he doesn't have any DRS. Still in 5th, though, but at least we have caught 4th place up in this race. Get ourselves up to 4th, and then hopefully have the pace on the medium tires to run down a car or 2 come the end of this race. Maybe we can get him coming down to a Scari, but if not, obviously we should be able to get it with no problem on the main straight. Unless he decides to dump all of his batteries. It looks like he's going to dump a lot of battery here, but we didn't have the best exit, so it might have just been that as well. Starting to open up a little bit of a gap behind on the cars I overtook, which is good because I don't have to worry about them fighting me back and then having to worry about defending while attacking at the same time. That's the kind of situation you really just hate to be in on a heavy slipstream track like this. Have a decent run through a Scari, and now we just need a decent final corner. Stay as close as possible to this car ahead. Very easy to lose the car on the exit of that final corner of Parabolical, so you can't be too aggressive with it. And we're going to try to burn some battery, get a good run down the front stretch. It looks like the McLaren's going to burn a lot of battery as well, but we want to get ahead of him sooner rather than later. We thought about making the move, but it looked like he was going to go a little defensive, so we just back off of it for now. Now we're going to go again, another attempt at him on the next lap, hoping that he used up a big chunk of his battery. We're even closer this time, and he's going to fly into the pits. He was on the medium tires, he's flying into the pits early. We have the DRS, and unfortunately he held me up just enough that now the cars behind that I broke out the DRS of are back into my DRS. And you can see we got 2 cars ahead battling, but a few seconds up the road, so they might be a little bit out of reach of us at this point, especially if I gotta contend with DJ behind me. yeah, at least we are up the P4 on track, and with the better strategy, we should be able to at least finish in this position, if not a little bit better. But we're definitely still going to have to fight for it yet. Coming out to start lap 14 at this point. All three cars ahead were medium runners. We knew Spec Lab and Immortal were medium runners, but it turned out that the other car that was ahead of us as well were also medium runners. So still a chance in this one, but DJ had saved up a lot of battery behind, and it looks like he's going to be able to overtake us. And that's annoying because it's right before we're going to be making pit stops, and we're on the same strategy, so we're going to be fighting each other. But maybe he can pull me forward a little bit in this race. If he has some battery to use to make his pace even better, and I can use the DRS to keep up with him, you know, maybe this will work out for the both of us. But things are definitely going to get really mixy moving forward as we have a terrible second chicane. So now he might even break out of our DRS, which would be really terrible for our race. We really got to stay with him right now if we want to fight for this win. I know it might have not looked like we might still be able to fight for the win as it stood, but being on the better strategy and being on those quick mediums at the end, we do still have a little bit of a fighting chance in this one if we don't make more mistakes and lose time like we did there in the second chicane, or have to fight a bunch of people along the way. But as you saw there, we were able to stick just within the DRS of DJ, so all is not lost yet. We would pit at the end of that lap, throw on the medium tires, and we will see where we come out of the pits here. See how many spots we got to make up. Hoping to still at least get a podium in this race, but after the pit stop, you can see dismal all the way back down to P8. Coming through Parabolical on my out lap, a car has crashed out, and that is going to be a full safety car, which brings us back into this race. We will be on the fresher medium tire. The front runners are on hards, and with the safety car probably coming in with about 10 or 9 laps to go. We might be in 6th right now, but we can still fight for this one yet. A couple cars had pitted ahead, so we are now up into 4th, and you can see DJ leads the race. He is on medium tires. He is on the same tires I was on. The 2 cars ahead of me are on hard tires. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? A safety car actually helped us in a race. Can you fucking believe it? When's the last time I've been able to say that? Maybe once or twice through the entire year to like the 15 that hurt us? Wow. But hey, we take them where we can get them. The 2 cars behind me are on medium tires as well, so if I get held up too much trying to battle these hard runners, could be susceptible behind. But hey, we are still in, maybe with a chance to win this. I don't know, DJ having 2 cars between me and him being about the same pace, he's definitely got a big advantage in this one. But it is still yet a lot to fight for. As long as I can still finish ahead of Immortal, that will be great for my championship. It is almost time to get back going to green, and I told you guys that this race is interesting, and you haven't even seen nothing yet. We've already had to slowly climb back after a terrible first lap, but still lots to happen yet in this race as we wait patiently for DJ's launch. It looks like he has launched there, and we get a great run. We're going to be able to maybe get this McLaren going into the very first corner. We're going to burn as much battery as necessary. We're on the softer tire compound. We really want to get ahead of him immediately. We brake super late, almost go into the back of Spec Lab. The McLaren, we respect the space on the outside, but we're going to burn the battery to make sure we keep this position. And already back up into the podium spots, in the P2, in the DRS line of the leading 2 cars. Spec Lab is quick, a couple of tenths faster than us a lap, but we have the medium tire advantage. And me and DJ are about the same pace, the same tire. Things are really going to get interesting here for the remainder of this race. So I just need to settle into a rhythm here and keep up with these guys and look for my opportunity for an overtake. Right now I'm suspecting that they're going to battle pretty hard. Obviously the leader isn't going to have anyone towing him along, so we're going to be faster behind with the DRS. I think these guys are going to fight pretty hard ahead, and I'm going to wait for my moment to pounce. But if they hold me up enough that the guys behind start getting on my butt, then I'm going to have to make a move quickly because I do not want to get swallowed up again like it's lap 1. Pulling forward a couple laps, you can see they are getting closer and closer together as the laps go on. And we've had to burn some battery to keep up with them because they are mighty quick, and they are using battery to hold their positions as well. And yeah, things are really going to be escalating here sooner rather than later. We're all starting to run lowish on the battery, but I'm still keeping within the DRS, still just waiting for my moment to bounce. Coming down the front stretch, start lap 24. 4 laps to go in this one. We have a DRS. We are using battery for the run. We think we might be able to make it happen here. DJ goes defensive. Spec Lab's going to go around the outside on the hard tire, but he locks up. We're all coming so close together here, but I don't have quite good enough run, not quite enough room for me to get through. I'm going to slot back into second here behind DJ. And yeah, I was really hoping to make up a position there as they battled each other, but it's not going to happen, so we are just going to have to play a little bit of a patient game behind us yet. I didn't have the best last lap. Lap 25, still in the DRS though, but they are breaking a little bit away from me. They're still burning everything they got remaining to fight with each other. Spec Lab gets a terrible exit. He spins the tires coming out of the corner. He loses the position to DJ, and now we are right behind him, but nowhere to pass him yet. He's still going to have the DRS on DJ. I know he's going to burn some of his remaining battery to stay ahead of me here on this straight. So I'm just going to, again, just going to have to bide for my time. I know it's frustrating, but I got to look at it this way. Even if I can't get a position here, I really don't want to lose this podium. Because as you can see, Immortal's not here. He's behind us. So even if he's in fourth, which I'm not paying attention to what's going on behind me at all right now, I did a quick glimpse just to make sure no one might be overtaking me. But yeah, this is going to be good for a championship overall. We only got 2 laps to go in this race as we come to the line to start the penultimate lap of the race. Is Spec Lab going to go for DJ right here going into turn 1 on the penultimate lap? DJ goes defensive. Spec Lab might try it around the outside again. The same move. We are hesitant on the brakes. We don't want to brake too late again. We get a good exit though, and we are close to them, and we are committed. We are burning the battery. If there is a moment for us in this race, it is right here, right now. As you can see, the light blinking on DJ. I'm going to have the light blinking. All 3 of us running up DRS. We're 3 wide. We brake the latest. We mount the curve, and the car sticks. Double overtake for the lead. Oh, what a comeback in this one. What a move that was. Probably, definitely, my best move in my league racing career. Down the inside 3 wide into the second chicane at Monza, and we made it stick without contact. Spec Lab and DJ touched each other coming out of the second corner of that chicane. And yeah, I think DJ actually got a little bit of damage for it. And right there on the Ascari behind us, you can't hear because he didn't have his party sharing settings on. But I was let know that Spec Lab just got a penalty on that corner. So DJ with wing damage, Spec Lab with a penalty. We just made a clean double overtake 3 wide into the chicane. Holy shit, this race has turned around. And with Spec Lab's penalty and DJ's damage, we're going to be able to come across the line and win this race. One of our greatest wins in league racing after the best move I've ever put on. Wow, what a race that was. Starting P3 at no fault of our own, being shuffled down to P7 on the first lap and fighting our way tooth and nail all the way back up. I couldn't believe I won that race with overtakes, you know, and not just from them crashing. Wow, to make up positions like that at Monza against the quality of drivers like that as a pad player, man, that has got to be one of my best wins in league racing. I might actually say it's my second best win in league racing. Number 1 is always got to be 2020. I won a league race at China from 14th on the grid, no safety cars, in one of, if not the best grids I had ever raced against. Just absolutely had a perfect race. But yeah, that's a damn good feeling win. And without AC Immortal on the podium, that's going to be a big advantage for us in the championship. And yeah, this was the moment that I really thought my foot was stamped down in this championship. Having a race like that at a track like this, man. I mean, what more is there to say about that one? We expand our championship lead to, it's a pretty much a 2-race championship lead at this point, or almost 2-race championship lead at this point. And man, what a result for us. Immortal down in 5th, so he scores 12 points? 10 points. Yeah, 10 points. We gained another 15 points on him. Ah, what a result. Join us in the next video as we continue this epic championship run.